going to talk about listening today from a whole new perspective. Now, I am fully aware that I did 2 Coffee with Dawni videos about really deep and present listening. However, I am very, very much still noticing that this is a huge issue out in the world. So, again, was at a coffee shop yesterday, and again was listening to so many different conversations where people were not present and where they were listening from a place of just waiting until they can speak. So I'm going to turn this into a big time call for action, even to the point where maybe like a little bit of a challenge for you. So first I want to talk about the present way that all of us, including me, are listening, okay? And it's through filters. Sorry, I gotta have my coffee. It's too good this morning. All right, setting it down. One of the reasons I set it down, obviously, is to talk with my hands, but one of the reasons is because if I'm holding it, I will just keep interrupting myself to sip on it. So let me set that down. So what we do, most of us, most of the time, is we listen through our filters. So we have been actually conditioned in certain ways to listen for certain things. And this is, in general, it's a positive. If we didn't have the ability to kind of block out certain noises, we would be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs all the time. If you always noticed every sound that your kids made or your neighbors made or the traffic made, you know, the airplanes, the garbage trucks, all of that, we would really be distracted all of the time. So we've actually been conditioned to filter for important things. We do it when we're reading. We scan for the dialogue. Here's the problem, doing that with listening to people that we truly care about and love, and or that we are serving, helping, working with, and working for, is that we will use our conditioning to scan for relevant information, not realizing that so much of what somebody says is very nuanced. So much of it comes through in their very energy, in their tone of voice as they're speaking certain things. If I'm listening to a client, they're in a session, if I'm not fully aware, I will miss the moment of emotion as they talk about when they were 3 years old. Instead of saying, oh, hold on, let's stop there. What was that? There's something coming up for you. And that's how with my clients, I get to the deepest transformation, is by listening for nuance, reading between the lines. This is one of the reasons why I love in-person sessions so much more than phone sessions, because I can watch body language and really listen for those slight variances in their voices and in, their facial expressions, their micro expressions. And I'm able to, so much of me being psychic is me reading those little things. And I'm very honest and upfront about that. So when your 12-year-old comes to you with an issue, and you go back into your filters, into your conditioning, even to your biological conditioning that says scan and sort for relevancy, then you are missing, often really missing, the thing that your 12-year-old is trying to tell you and the connection that is possible there. So another way we filter is we filter through our judgments. So somebody will say something that we have a disgust response to. This is what it is. Disgust response is exactly what it sounds like. So, you feel this thing rise in you that says, no, not that. There's nothing wrong with having a disgust response. We all have them. It's actually a very easy way to tell what works for us and what doesn't, and what our belief systems are. But when you then sort through that and you feel the disgust response rise in you, and then you instantly shut off your listening, then you are no longer able to listen to connect, right? To listen to understand, or even to listen to serve. So in a way, this is sort of like the part 3 of those other Coffee with Dawni listening. If you have not heard those, I'll see if Gideon can link those in a way to this video so that you can listen to those for the first time or again, because this is a very, very important subject. If you have children, this is extremely important. If you have a spouse, this is extremely important, or a significant other, a best friend. If you work with clients, this is so important. You could be anything from a therapist, a life coach, to a banker or an insurance agent or a mortgage broker, a real estate agent, a massage therapist, a lawyer. You have got to be able to listen past your filters, being aware of what your filters are so that you can very deliberately set those aside and hear and be present with that person. Okay? Past your judgment, past your scanning for relevance. Can you start to get this? And why I want to do this as a call to action is that I want you to experience what it's like to truly, truly listen. Because once you experience that and you feel what's possible in that realm, you don't ever want to go back. I may have shared that I worked with, when my family owned Kneaders, a few of the Kneaders locations. For those of you not in Utah, that's a Utah restaurant that we have. I don't know if they're anywhere else, and I worked as a cashier. And I just worked there very part-time. Trinity was going to preschool right up the road. And in order to pay for her very expensive preschool, while she was at school, I worked there. And then I would just put that money directly to her preschool. It was actually a great situation. And it was a little weird going back to being a cashier after spending many years of my life being a life coach. But what I did is I used those listening skills as a cashier. So it was so interesting to see how I could even anticipate their needs. The customers loved it. I had so many positive comments like, wow, you're really good at this. And I was like, thank you. I am in my 40s. I should be. But I would like little tiny things where they would say something like, I don't know, does that have onions on it? And they would seem distressed. And I would just say, you know what it normally does. You want those taken off? I'd be happy to take those off for you. And they'd just be relieved. Oh, yes, please. That they didn't have to seem demanding by asking for no onions. Now that's such a small thing. But when you feel heard and you feel really gotten, even if it's in ordering a sandwich, there's a level of satisfaction and peace that comes over you. We have the ability to give this to people. Okay? So think about this. You are a dental assistant and you have someone come in who has, fears around being in that chair, and you can feel that and notice that and listen for that. What kind of an amazing dental assistant can you be in that moment? As you can reassure, as you can be fully present, as you can give some, hey, you know what? I'm so careful. I will be so careful. I'll do everything in my power to make this as painless as possible, as quick as possible, as easy as possible. All of a sudden, that patient is going to relax into your space. Okay? Think about how much that could change your life to do that same thing for your child or your spouse. Because you know what it would mean to you if your parent or spouse could do that for you. Even now, as a grown-ass man or woman, what does it mean to you when you have your parent really hear you and acknowledge you and be fully present with you and they're listening? Okay? So this is a big one. This is a big one, which is why we're revisiting it. So you guys are the very, very first people to hear about this. I am actually doing a program, a mentorship program for people wanting to be coaches, or for people who are already coaches and wanting to up-level their business. And if anyone is interested, contact me. But man, I'll tell you what, the listening skills that you will get are going to be massive and life-changing. They will not only change your business, they will change your personal connections. So your call to action, your challenge today is just for one day, try to set all your filters up on a shelf and be fully present with the people that you're around. Even if it's an interaction between two of your children or two of your coworkers, that you are listening for what is really up for them. So try to think of this in a completely different way. Try to listen in a completely different way and see what magic happens. And as usual, I want to hear from you. What do you have resistance to doing this as an action? How does it go when you try it? I'll tell you, doing this in your job will make you more successful than you ever thought possible. And doing this at home will change not only your life, but lives of your family. I love you. I know you can do this, and I want to hear all about it. May your coffee be strong and your life be blessed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.